Welcome to Academic Orientation for Remote Advising. Students entering Eastern this fall will be advised remotely before attending the on-campus orientation event. All of you will be coming to Eastern from other institutions, community colleges, universities, and have partnered with an academic advisor or a counselor at your institution. So at Eastern, you will also have an academic advisor who is partnering with you through degree completion. At Eastern, academic advising is mandatory. So that means that each semester, before you can register for your classes, you will have a meeting with your academic advisor and devise your plan for the upcoming semester and register for your classes. Once you've had that appointment, you do receive your alternate PIN number, which allows you to access registration. I would like to talk to you about preparing for the online advising appointment. So we'd like to make sure that you have tested your technology ahead of time, whether you're using Zoom or Teams, and make sure that technology is working. Please try to be in a quiet space with no distractions. We'd prefer that the appointment be between student and advisor as you're forming that new partnership, so family members or friends should not be in attendance. Use of a computer or laptop is highly preferred and recommended. Tablets and phones make it very difficult for us to be able to share screens and do the kinds of things we need to do to assist you. Please be on time and have your camera on so we can see you and know who you are. Review your major guide. So I've included the link to view all of the majors here at Eastern. So if you have your major declared or in mind, please review this link, pull up your major information, and take a look at it before you meet with your advisor remotely. Your advisor may email you some additional materials to review, so please have those out and prepared for your meeting. Make sure you can log into the tools you'll be using here at Eastern as a student. I'm sure that at other institutions you've used different technologies, and here at Eastern you'll do the same thing. So make sure that you can log into your EIU Panther Mail, to PAWS, your Panther Access to Web Services, and make sure that your NetID and password are working. If you're realizing any issues, please do call the Technology Help Desk line, and I've given you their phone number to call them if you are having any issues with this technology. So what are the technology tools you'll be using at Eastern as a student? Desire to Learn is the name of our digital classroom space. You've all been at other institutions and used maybe Canvas or some other form of technology. Here at Eastern, it's called Desire to Learn. And when you are in Desire to Learn now, because you've accessed the transfer classroom. So there is an orientation. You can click on a module inside the classroom that helps you to explore D2L a little further. And you'll also be using a degree audit. It's called DegreeWorks, and it's inside your Panther Access to Web Services account. Your advisor will be using this, and you will be using this. So it's going to track what you've already taken and are transferring into Eastern, and then also what you'll be taking at Eastern to complete your degree. So it's a very helpful tool. You'll also be using, like I've mentioned, PAWS, Panther Access to Web Services. This is where students register for their classes, among other things that you will use this technology for. And I will be getting into that further into the presentation. I do want you to be aware that there are two ways to register for classes on our campus, and one is called Schedule Planner and one is Add Drop, which is both are tabs inside your Panther Access to Web Services account. and I've given you the QR codes to scan to review how to use these two tabs. And then Panther Mail. Panther Mail is what we call Eastern's email, so it's actually inside Outlook. And that is your official EIU email account. And we definitely encourage you to check this daily. This is really the only way that I would be reaching out to you as a student. Your advisor would be reaching out to you, your major department, financial aid, and other services on campus. It's very important that you check your Panther Mail on a regular, daily basis. Registration checklist. So, you know, what's going to help you prepare for this appointment? So, definitely watch for an email from your advisor in your Panther Mail account. So the advisor you've been partnered with, whether it's someone in the Central Advising Center like myself, or whether it's someone out in your major department, they will be reaching out to you when you've completed your D2L classroom, and they will then help you to schedule an appointment with them for advisement. And then we ask that you try to prepare for that appointment. I had mentioned looking up your major information and really paying attention to any materials that your advisor does send to you through email, and having those things out and ready to be viewing during the appointment. So you'll select classes and register through using PAUSE. And then, of course, pick up your textbooks before classes start. You'll want to check your D2L, your Desire to Learn classroom daily when classes start, because professors will post information about your classes inside D2L. So you'll want to pay attention to that information, check out the syllabus for that class, and look to see if there's any information that professor would like you to get started on. And then check your academic calendar for important dates and deadlines. It may be that you want to add a different class or change something around in your schedule. So those things can be done, but there are dates and deadlines to pay attention to. So this link that I've provided will get you to that information. So what do you want to discuss further with your academic advisor during your remote session? Definitely considering your academic plan, of course. You know, what are you thinking of majoring in? You know, what type of course load are you interested in taking? Are you a full-time student? You know, how many classes is going to be comfortable for you? You know, what does your major look like? Is there room to build in a minor alongside your major? Will you need to do that? Some programs do encourage students to build in minors alongside the program. So it depends on what you're doing, and that's something your advisor will assist you with. And so what are the classes that you're transferring in? What do they look like? How do they meet requirements that we have here at Eastern? Sometimes students will transfer in a class that doesn't fulfill a requirement specifically in a major or specifically toward general education requirements, but it's still a class that they have transferred in. So that class is called an elective class, and so that means that those hours still fulfill hours that you need to graduate. So there are a total number of hours that you need to graduate at Eastern, and that class will help you to do that. So you aren't losing anything in transferring in an elective class, and sometimes students get confused by that. So classes that you've transferred in may fit into a major, into a minor, may fit into both, but also may fit into an elective area. What does your degree progress look like? So with what you're transferring into Eastern, we know, where do you stand? What have you met so far? What do you have yet to do? And your degree audit that I mentioned earlier in the presentation, called Degree Works, which is inside your PAUSE account for you and your advisor to access, that will show you your progress, where you stand now coming into Eastern and what you have left to take in order to graduate. And what is your class standing? Really important to know this. Are you a freshman? Are you a sophomore, junior? Where do you stand? Class standing has ties to different policies and procedures on campus. So although you register on the day that you have your remote advising appointment, in the future, when you come to Eastern, you'll be registering according to your class standing or your class level. So, you know, if you're a sophomore, you would register starting at this point in time, or if you're a junior, this point in time during the semester. So you want to know, you know, what is my class standing? That's one example. Students can take certain classes according to their class standing as well. So students who are sophomores, for instance, can take a junior level class. Students who are freshmen cannot. So, you know, 0 to 29 hours is freshman class standing. 30 to your 59 credit hours earned is sophomore standing, and so forth. So something to be aware of and something to talk to your advisor about. So now I'm going to get into how to access PAWS. You're going to be using PAWS on a regular basis. Not only is it a place where you go to register for your classes, but you'll also be using it to look up all kinds of information about yourself as a student. So you can log into Eastern's homepage to do this, and at the top, the top tabs there have a place where you click on PAWS. And you can also see that you can click on D2L to get to your desire to learn, classroom. There's an A to Z index to look up any kind of information that you're looking for, and also a tab for your Panther Mail. So if you click on PAWS, the next thing that it will ask you to do is to enter your net ID and your password. So I've referred to this earlier in the presentation. So if you're unsure or having any trouble with your net ID and password, you do want to call the help desk line, and I'm giving you that information again in this slide. But you can also check your MyEIU account and see if you have changed your password. Sometimes that happens and students don't realize that they may have done that. And so if you've changed it, it will say that your password is outdated. So Eastern gives everyone a password coming into campus, but you can change the password. So if you're not sure if you've done that or not, you can check in your MyEIU account, but you can also contact the help desk line and get that information. So you'll log in using your net ID and password to all of our technology tools. So not only PAWS, but also Panther Mail and D2L. Okay, so once you've logged into PAWS, some tabs will appear. And if you actually read under the tabs, you'll kind of, get to know which tab you are looking to use. So if you want to register for classes, you would click on the registration tab. If you're looking to see, okay, I want to look at my degree works audit. I want to look to see my transcript that I sent in from my community college. Things like that. That would be under Student Records tab. If you're looking to see, okay, what do my textbooks look like? I've registered now, how many books will I need to pick up? What do I need to be prepared to do there? So lots of information. You can see there's some housing information, dining information, anything to do with you as a student entering Eastern, here at Eastern, you're going to be able to access that information inside your personal account in PAWS. So moving on, in PAWS, you have further tabs that you can click on. So academic transcript, as I mentioned before, you can see what you have transferred in from your previous institution. You can view your schedule. So once you've registered, you have 2 ways to view your schedule here at Eastern: week at a glance and student detail schedule. So if you have registered for an online class, okay, that class will not show up in week at a glance. It will only show up in your student detail schedule. Very important to know, so that you remember that you actually registered for an online class and you'll have those details. So you have to pull up the student detail schedule if you have registered for any online classes alongside your in-classroom classes. And then DegreeWorks, you can see that that's there where you can pull up that audit and start looking at the progress that you've made. Okay, at this point in time in the presentation, I'd like to invite you to pause your video and maybe jot down any questions that you've thought of that you would want to bring up with your advisor during the remote appointment, because this is sort of the halfway point in that we will start looking at graduation requirements specifically. The path to graduation. So transfer students will come in with a variety of classes that they've taken. Some will come in and have met an associate's degree requirement. They've earned that degree. Some will come in with only a semester of courses, that they've completed from their community college or another university. So it really just depends. So you're going to be most concerned with, how do I earn my degree now here at Eastern? So everyone must complete a 40 semester hour general education curriculum. So if you've earned your associate's degree, you've already done that. If you have yet to earn that degree, that's something you can talk about with your advisor individually, but something that you'll want to look at together and decide, okay, what do you have left yet to take to meet that general education 40 semester hours? And you'll also have your major. So your major kind of runs alongside your general education. All right, and then you may be bringing in a minor of some kind. So, and those electives that I mentioned earlier. So all together, that needs to equal 120 semester or credit hours in order to graduate. So you can have taken all the classes that you need to take for a specific degree program, but if you have not met the 120 semester hours, you will not graduate. So something to look at in advance with your academic advisor. Where do you stand? Use your audit. That will help as well. Are you going to need to bring in additional coursework? Are you already bringing in, plenty of hours? That sort of thing. So something to talk about in your appointment. You also have to have met the high school foreign language requirement. So 2 years, same language, C average. And our records and registrar's office actually evaluates that. And then that's something you and your advisor can check on together, and that would be posted in your degree audit. So for you to view as well. So you definitely want to send in any transcripts that we need in order to best advise you. So make sure that you've sent in transcripts from the community college, the university that you are attending now or have previously attended, and make sure we have those high school transcripts, everything we need. And you would send that to our records office. And that is something your advisor can help you with and get that taken care of, okay? So maybe something to jot down for your appointment. So how does that work? I mean, typically, 15 credit hours that you earn per semester in 8 semesters, that's your 4 years, that will equal your 120 credit hours, all right, in a perfect world. So, that's kind of what you're shooting for to stay on track for graduation. Okay, so to further view requirements, whether it be graduation requirements, whether it be class requirements inside your major, whether it be that you want to look at course descriptions, all of this information is inside your EIU catalog. So the catalog is online. You will be entering Eastern under the 2023-2024 undergraduate catalog. Okay, and so that will be posted in late April. So right now it does show you the 2022-2023 undergraduate catalog, but you want to be sure that you are accessing your catalog for your year that you entered Eastern. All right, so that will be posted on Eastern's website at the end of April. So inside the catalog you can find academic regulations, course descriptions, majors and minors, all kinds of information. But specifically, I want to point out your graduation requirements. And I did embed a QR code into the presentation that you can scan, and it'll take you directly to the information. So again, emphasizing general education will have to be met, as well as including a senior seminar. So senior seminar is an EIU requirement, and you do not take this course until you are at least a junior into senior year. And there are some options with this requirement that you'll want to discuss with your academic advisor, but it is part of your graduation requirement. And of course, completing your major requirements, any minor requirements, and then skipping down to the 120-hour minimum that I mentioned previously, foreign language as well, and then English 1, 2, and speech must be a C or better. And then all students do complete the electronic writing portfolio. So that is an essay requirement that you complete while you are a student here at Eastern. So when you're in a class and you recognize that you're writing an essay for a course, you would talk to your instructor. You would decide if you'd like to submit that essay that you're currently writing for the course to the electronic writing portfolio. So you do this twice from 2 separate classes. And this is something, again, that you can get into more detail with your academic advisor about when you have your appointment, but something that you'll want to pay attention to while you're a student here at Eastern. And those requirements in the middle, those are the 40 hours of upper division, the 30 semester hours in residence. For example, those are things you're going to want to talk specifically out in your major department with that academic advisor, because those are requirements that students address later in their program. So if you're a student with, 60 semester hours or more, you can talk more in detail about those specific requirements with your academic advisor. And we do have a program for new transfer students called EIU Transfer Connection. And so that's going to pair a transfer student with an EIU student who was also a transfer student, who has been here on campus and familiar with the EIU experience. So if you're interested in filling out the application and pairing with another student on campus, please let your academic advisor know this. You may want to jot this down, and then your academic advisor can direct you to the link to fill out the application, and then you'll be paired with a student on campus as you enter Eastern. It's kind of nice to help you and give you some extra support that first semester, especially when you're new here and things are new to you. And so there's a lot of questions to be answered and more to come, I'm sure. So we do have a link, a QR code that you can scan to frequently asked questions. And so maybe, you're wondering, where can I pick up my textbooks? Can I make changes to my schedule after I meet with my advisor? Is tutoring available on campus? Different questions that you may have. We're hoping that the FAQs will help to answer some of those questions. And of course, writing down any questions you have and asking your advisor during that remote advising appointment. So please remember, when you've finished this orientation, there is a mini quiz to follow to unlock your next step before you will be coming for your in-person orientation event. So scheduling your advising appointment will occur once you have taken your mini quiz. And then your advisor will reach out to you through Panther Mail to get your remote advising appointment scheduled. Thank you and welcome to Eastern.